Welcome to Salamanca in Spain for this EuroLeague women's regular season matchup between Avenida and Sopron. We are rushing headfirst right now to the business end of the season. Both these teams looking to get their spot in the postseason playoffs booked as early as they can. However, it's game day 12 at this stage of the season. There are no easy games, and that certainly applies here today. Avenida against Sopron. This is going to be a really, really big game for both of these teams. The home team probably potentially positioned as the underdogs in this one, as Sopron have been looking pretty good all year right now. For Sopron, plenty of talent in that roster. They've put in some big performances as well across the season, and they are now potentially one win away from securing their place in the playoffs. A win tonight would be enough. They would be the first team here in Group B to secure a spot in the postseason. Fenerbahce, the first team in Group A, they did that yesterday with their impressive win against Praha on the road. Can Sopron do the same on the road here in Salamanca? It's a big ask. Usually a good crowd, a strong crowd. They bring the noise. To main culprits there in your screen. I'm sure they'll be noisy as the game gets going. It's a wonderful atmosphere, a wonderful venue for top-level basketball. We are just about 8 minutes away from the opening tip here. Players about to be introduced to the crowd who are starting to file into the stands. The noise is starting to raise, and some of the future generation of basketball superstars being inspired in the stands as well. Always good to see the next generation. You wonder how many of those we'll see with a senior jersey in the near future. These two obviously met earlier on in the season as well. They met back in December. Slightly surprising result as well, and the surprise wasn't necessarily that Avenida came away with the win, as these two teams usually are very evenly matched. I think the surprise was probably more that it was Avenida picking up a 22-point win on the road against Sopron. And Coach Gaspar there, I'm sure he will have looked back to that game tape time and time again. It's particularly leading up to today's game. The key that night for Avenida was on the defensive end, holding Sopron to just 53 points. However, it probably didn't hurt that Carlton and Fazula combined for 30 points. Coach Vazquez, relatively recent introduction as head coach, taking over from Coach Iniguez, who departed a few weeks ago to take over at Çukurova in Turkey. But that night when these two met in December, Sopron got out to a slow start, and that was probably something that Coach Gaspar has talked about the most. They trailed by 9 at the end of the first quarter. They were 22 points down at the end of the first half, and really from that point onwards, it was just game management from Avenida for them to come away with the win. So the start could be critical here tonight, particularly as we are in Salamanca in front of what is a boisterous crowd for the Spanish team. We're now going to have the player introductions. First to be introduced will be the visitors, Sopron. You just feel like they're a different proposition than when they met Avenida 3 months ago. They enter the game on the back of a very tough-fought win against Girona last week on their home floor. They were certainly made to work for that one. But as always with Sopron, defense has been the key again this season. The second best defense in the competition, conceding just 62 points a game. However, that impressive defensive performance is sometimes undermined by a slightly weak offensive showing. They're only scoring 68.5 points a game across the season. And at times, you're kind of not sure what their offensive identity is, how they want to play the game at that end of the floor. When they string both sides of the game together, though, Sopron are definitely one of the best teams in Europe. They can take on any team in Europe on their night, that is for sure. Home team will now be introduced here as the noise level starts to increase. And Avenida too picked up a win last week. Very impressive and very important 14-point win on the road against Mechelen. That keeps their hopes of making the playoffs alive. They do know that they need to protect their home floor. A win tonight is big for them as they look to claim their 7th win of the season. As it stands, Avenida are one of 6 teams that are left fighting it out for just 4 playoff berths here in Group B. And that is not a place you want to be. Both groups in EuroLeague Women this season have been super competitive. Every team has got wins. Every team has lost games, at least 2 games. In Group B, Sopron top of the table going into this round of games, and they'd lost 3. So you can see how competitive this season has been. It has been a joy to provide commentary for. Hopefully you guys tuning in have enjoyed it as much as I have, if not more. And we are just getting to the fun end of the season now as well, as we are really only 2.5 months away from the Final Four. Mouth-watering as it is appearing right now with some of the teams and how they're shaping up and growing towards that Final Four. But the first job at hand for both of these teams is just to get to the postseason playoffs. A win tonight would see Sopron there. A loss tonight for Avenida really does put their chances on the rocks. Here's the starting 5 for Sopron. It's Kunek, Fegvanecki, McBegor, Brooks and Turner. Pretty consistent starting 5 for Sopron and plenty of talent in that starting 5. Fegvanecki bringing a ton of experience. McBegor had an absolute block party last week. 7 blocks in that game in their win over Girona. And Yelena Brooks always strong. Here's the 5 for Avenida. Cazorla, Velaro, Carlton, Gulbey and Razingarova. Plenty of talent coming off the bench for Avenida as well. Rodriguez, Dominguez, Onyenwere. Plenty for coach Vazquez to work with. Both teams now just going to their final huddles. Plenty of experience in that huddle. Zofia Fegvanecki leading the chat. Coach Vazquez getting those final instructions across. There are official for tonight's games. We have Mart Juhendrik, Gert Jacobs and Paulina Gajdos from Estonia, Belgium and Poland respectively. A strong officiating crew, they're ready to go. We are almost ready to go here. Under 2 minutes until our opening tip-off. Table officials look raring to go. Just a quick reminder, the best way to stay up to date with everything to do with EuroLeague Women is to download the official app, available on Android and iOS. Completely free of charge, and it brings you an absolute ton of content, so it's certainly worth a subscription if you have your phones at hand now. Jump into that one, download that onto your phones. Certainly is an interesting matchup between these two teams. Both of these teams on their night can challenge absolutely any team in Europe. The issue that both these teams have had this season is that they've not always been the most consistent. That can be probably levelled at Avenida more than at Sopron. Going into last week's game where they picked up that 14-point win against Mechelen, they were on a 4-game losing streak. That part of that was with the change of coach, moving away from coach Iniguez into coach Vazquez. Hopefully for their sake they've turned a corner, but it is a big test tonight with them facing the team that were top of the table entering this round. If they can pick up a win against Sopron, it won't just be a mark in the win column for them. There's more than that. It will give them a huge amount of confidence as they enter the last few weeks of the regular season and they try and get a spot in the playoffs. As for Sopron, I'm sure Coach Gaspar knows that getting their playoff spot secured as early as possible is the target. They don't want to leave it. They want to get the job done at the earliest possible opportunity. That opportunity is tonight, but they have to put in a big performance if that's to happen. Both starting fives come to the floor. As we are ready to go here in Salamanca. Game day 12, Group B. Avenida against Sopron. For Sopron, a place in the playoffs up for grabs. Fegvinecki now. McBegor moves it back to Fegvinecki. A little bit of patience here, down low to Brooks. Brooks will play her part, that's for sure. Out to Fegvinecki, good defense though. Smart play by Cazorla early on, closing out that space. Sopron will be looking to get that quicker start than they did in the last meeting between these two. Foul, I think, going to be called on Kunek. I don't think it is on Turner. Let's see what the officials call on that one. Yeah, it is on Alice Kunek. Just getting caught a little bit cold on her first defensive possession. Valaro now hands it off. Cazorla into Razingarova. This could be a really interesting battle between these two. Battle of the young bigs. Razingarova 24, McBegor 23. Stolen away, Cazorla read that one well, and she gets the first points on the board for Avenida. A sprightly start for the Spanish team. They look with it. Great help by Razingarova. The double across to trap in the corner forces the turnover. Valaro for three. String music for Andrea Valaro. She's trying to get the crowd into the game, and look at that. Coach Gaspar already. Timeout. He's not happy with what he's seen from his team. Pretty much a little over a minute into the game, 1 minute and 17 in, and straight away Hungarian coach wants to call a timeout and talk things over. This is really the first battle in favour of Avenida. As a coach, it's always great to see that your game plan has forced your counterpart at the other end into an early timeout. Shows that maybe you've read the game very well indeed, and you've caused them issues very quickly that they need to deal with. Valaro with the three, Cazorla with the score, 2 steals in the first 2 defensive possessions as well. Perfect start for Avenida right now. Sopron react coming out of that huddle. Fegvinecki hands it off to Brooks. Patience here from Sopron. Turner now into Brooks in the low post. Brooks going to work against Golbey. With the good defense, Brooks couldn't get the score. Cazorla, little pass fake, hands it off to Razingarova. Much better defense this time from Sopron, but the pick and roll creates the confusion. Shot goes up, a little heavy, but the long rebound falls back to Valaro, who hands it off to Golbey, who drops the little mid-range jumper. Be just averaging under 3 points a game. And one double-digit performance. That was 10 against Chukarova on the opening game of the season. McBegor, oh, quick first step, just leaves Razingarova in her dust. Potentially that's the advantage for McBegor in that encounter. Slightly quicker foot speed than Razingarova. She probably doesn't want to get into a classic back to the basket situation. This is where Razingarova might have the advantage. Bit more upper body strength. Yeah, bullies away to the basket. What's the call? Is the basket good? Yeah, I'm not sure McBegor can stay with her if it becomes a straight up one-on-one back to the basket battle between those two. In fact, it was before the shot, so it was sideline possession for Avenida. Zingarova, a little short corner jumper. It's too heavy. Avenida, though, 5-point lead, and we're pretty much 3 minutes into the game. They'll be happy. Turner for three. You can see Avenida trying to put a little bit of pace into the offense as well. Lovely hesitation. Oh, and the finish lets her down. Valaro did absolutely everything right. Just the finger roll. Doesn't quite work out for her. Turner now. Shepherding and corralling her team in front of her. Trying to get the offense running. Kunek being harassed by Valaro. Pulls up, free throw line jumper. Defense is so hustling right now from Avenida. Maybe this is the impact of the arrival of Coach Vazquez. Zingarova is short for the three. Yet to hit a three-pointer this season, Zingarova. It's not going to put her off putting them up, though. Fegvinecki gets chased back round the screen by Zingarova into the corner. Kunek. That really is almost a spot up the money position for Kunek. Off target this time, though. Sopron being held to just 2 points after 4 minutes. As Avenida look to bring in 3 changes into the corner. And the shot is short, but so much so that Valaro picks it up. She had to put the jumper up as the previous attempt hadn't hit the ring, so there was no reset on the shot clock. The original shot clock was expiring. Brooks now around the screen, going up against Goulby. Almost gets the score. How many times has Jelena Brooks tried to kickstart her team's offense? As we see Rodriguez, Dominguez and Fazula come into the game. Dominguez recently celebrating her birthday. A win tonight would be a nice late birthday present for her, that's for sure. Brooks at the line for 2, 77% this season, Jelena Brooks. There's the curse. Averaging just over 17 points and almost 5 rebounds a game. Almost halfway through this first quarter, Avenida lead by 4, a low-scoring encounter. We expected it to be that way. Neither team massively noted for their offense. Avenida averaging a little over 72 points. Sopron 68.5 points a game. It's more about defense that this one will be won. And at the moment, Avenida are winning that battle. Inside to Fazula. Eventually secures the rebound. Draws another foul from McBegor. And she has got problems at the moment trying to guard the front court of Avenida. They are bullying her down in the paint. She doesn't have an answer. There's no help coming as well from her teammates. They're leaving her to play pure, and that's going to force Coach Gaspar to make the change. Stankovic will now come into the action. And personally, I think Stankovic might actually be better based to play that physical brand of defense that's needed. Interesting to see if Coach Gaspar runs McBegor and Stankovic on the floor at the same time tonight. That potentially could free up McBegor quite a bit. Onyenwere already into the game as well for Avenida. Coach Vazquez making wholesale changes halfway through this first quarter. Stolen away. Good read by Onyenwere. The player of the starting 5 to still be on the floor for Avenida is Carlton. Rodriguez to Dominguez. Good movement off the ball here by Avenida. There's the space, tipped away by Stankovic. And interesting, Stankovic is now trying to revert a little bit more to fronting that post. Fazula worked hard there to try and create the separation so the pass could be lobbed over. Stankovic stayed close enough that she could get her hand into the passing lane. Fazula now running left hand, gets the roll. That is a sweet move from Mariela Fazula. Extends Avenida's lead out to 8. Turner. For me, Sopron just look a little bit lethargic right now. Don't look like the energy levels are where they need to be for this level of a game. Avenida seem to be very sprightly. Plenty of energy on the floor at both ends as well. Dominguez whistled for the foul on that one. Sideline possession for Sopron. First foul of the game for Avenida. We're over 6 minutes in. For me, that tells me a lot about Sopron's offense. Sorry, second foul. They're not pushing hard enough. Brooks for 3, reins it in. That is what Jelena Brooks can do. Quickly trims Avenida's lead to just 5. Brooks shooting 30% from downtown this season. Foul's going to be called on Burundi. Avenida will make the change, and Carlton the last player to get a rest, but back into the action comes Villaro. Rodriguez at the top, waiting for the screen from Fazula. Pick and roll inside. Fazula holds on to the laser pinpoint pass. Picks up herself another bucket. 6 points now for Fazula. 2 from 2 from the field, 2 from 2 from the free throw line. Burundi goes tough to the basket. Brooks is there for the offensive rebound, but a rare mistake from Jelena Brooks. Going to be stolen away. Just the pass deflected by Sopron. Stankovic now trying to bully away herself. Onyenwere steps forward and fouls. Stankovic trying to be really aggressive. Watch this play. Yeah, just needs to be a little bit careful that left elbow. Can't go too hard in that situation. 3rd team foul of the quarter for Avenida. Sopron already in the penalty. They have 4 so far. 2:41 left in this first quarter. A very interesting first quarter so far. Not high flying, not high scoring. Plenty of action to get our teeth into. Good defense by Onyenwere, forcing Brooks to knock it out of bounds and turn it over. Onyenwere, Rookie of the Year in the WNBA in 2021. He's come in and done a great job. Had 18 points against Lorne back in game day 9. Dominguez skips it cross court. Good movement. Rodriguez probably should have passed it on again. That would have really split the Sopron defense wide open. As it is, Avenida's lead is still at 7. Kunek inside to Brooks. Brooks to the basket. Easy score. No help defense there at all. Jelena Brooks will make you pay if you don't help across. 1-on-1. She is a tough assignment. You need to play team defense against Brooks. Inside Fazula. Oh my goodness, just pure power. Traveling violation called though. Picks up a pivot foot. She's not happy with the call. It'll be a baseline ball for Sopron though, and you can see clearly this is a strategy from Avenida. They want to get it into their bigs, and they want their bigs to be overtly physical on the offensive end. Really take it to the defense. Create the contact. I think they have that physicality advantage. It's certainly paid off so far, both from Razingarova and Fazula. Burundi inside to Brooks, and another easy 2 for Jelena Brooks. And has been the case for many teams across Europe, Jelena Brooks is a problem right now for Avenida. They don't have an answer for what she's bringing to the game. Avenida's lead down to just 3 as we approach the final minute of this first quarter. Fazula in the low post. Oh, uses her body well. Needs to be a little careful with that left arm. Almost hooked it round Stankovic to ease her out the way. Fazula certainly the bright spark. 8 points for her, perfect from the field. Brooks is going to go again. Double team comes in now. That's the move that they needed. That's the defense that Avenida need against Brooks. She's too good an operator to play a one-on-one. Pass inside. Fazula with another score. Double digit. She's only been on the floor under 5 minutes. Avenida's lead back to 7. What will probably be the final play of this first quarter. Fegvinecki moves it. Burundi drives inside, draws the contact off the glass for 2. That's a big play by Vivi Burundi. That is exactly what Coach Gaspar needed. He needed a little bit of momentum to come out of the back end of that first quarter because it's been a tough first 10 minutes for Sopron. The home team, Avenida, have looked very, very good in that first 10 minutes. They've controlled the tempo, they've controlled the style of play, and that is why they hold a 5-point lead. First quarter in the books, it's Avenida 17, Sopron 12. Here are some of the highlights from that first quarter of action. And plenty of them will be for the team in white, Avenida. They got out to a good start. That Valaro 3 pushed Sopron into a very early timeout. Sopron did respond though. You have to give them credit. They battled their way back in. Got back to a single possession game. Avenida opened it out again. And that player there, Mariela Fazula, came in and just bossed the game in that first quarter. She was on the floor 5 minutes 24 seconds. She had 10 points, 4 from 4 from the field, 2 from 2 from the free throw line. That is a perfect start to the game for Mariela Fazula. She came in off the bench tonight for Coach Vazquez. This seems to be the advantage that Avenida have. It's in that front court. Not sure that Sopron have the physicality to deal with Avenida right now. Do remember that on Sopron's roster is Bernadette Hattar. She's been out injured all season. Standing at 2 meters and 8 centimeters, Hattar is the rim protection that Sopron rely on. They haven't been able to put her on the floor this season. I'm sure they're hoping that maybe they can get her back in the next few weeks to play a part. But at the moment, it's Avenida's front court that are just absolutely dominating this game. Second quarter action underway here in Salamanca. Foul's going to be called. Where is that foul? I think it may be on Chukor. Fight her way over the screens and maybe doing so with her hands rather than better footwork. Fazula now is going to hand it off to Dominguez at the top. Valaro for 3. Oh my goodness! 2 triples for Valaro already in this game. Avenida now with a game high 8-point lead. Open up this second quarter. And I tell you now, I've not seen this Avenida this season. They haven't looked so bright, so aggressive, so on point. Free ball goes up. McBegor reaches over, grabs the offensive glass. Ezi McBegor Brooks will get the points on the box score, but McBegor did all the work for that one. Oh, and another 3-ball, this time Rodriguez. Avenida doing a great job from outside early on. They're 3 from 6 from downtown. Shooting 35% from outside this season, so you shouldn't really be surprised. Averaging a little over 21 points a game from the perimeter. Foul's been called on Fazula, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, just reaching in. Just almost a split second late with the hedge to push Brooks back. Fazula's going to head to the bench. Razingarova will come back in, and it's a relentless way for McBegor to face up against right now. Jakor, the double team chases her out. Fegvinecki to Brooks for 3. Can't really afford to give Brooks that space. Onimwere slightly lucky. Brooks didn't make her pay that time. Now into the low post. Razingarova going to work off the glass, and it is easy money in the paint right now for Avenida. Sopron have to find a game changer. Is it dropping into some form of zone defense to clog the paint a little more? McBegor for 3. Oh, nails it. She didn't look confident stepping into that one. It looked like she wanted to drive to the basket, but they gave her so much space that it would have been rude not to accept the invite, and she does. She RSVPs with the triple. Carlton kicks it back out. Offensive foul will be called on Valaro, though, as she just throws her hand away into the face of Burundi. That's an eye-waterer. Sideline ball for Sopron. Second foul of the quarter for Avenida. Not even 2.5 minutes into this quarter, so potentially a few trips to the free throw line coming for Sopron if Avenida can't tighten their defense up. Valaro chasing out on the double team against Fegvinecki. It's a bold move. Far more aggressive defense from Avenida tonight. Burundi to McBegor. Down in the low post where she wants to be. Little drop step. Beautiful use of the glass. Week after week, Hezi McBegor is fine-tuning in to absolutely world-class big. Razingarova now has to come back out. Shot clock to 8. Oh, around the corner pass is a little hot for Razingarova to hold. Foul will be called on Razingarova, so it'll be Sopron ball. That was a smart pass around the corner from Cazorla. I don't think Razingarova was expecting it. Onimwere heads to the bench for Avenida. Gulbi comes back in. Interesting to see the Latvian picking up so many minutes early on in this game. That is what a change of head coach can do. If you were a role player getting limited minutes, it's your chance to claim a bigger part of the rotation. McBegor drives strong, tough move, and this is the key for McBegor. She may be having a tough time defensively as Avenida seem to be targeting her, but she needs to make sure she's doing equal amount of damage on the other end of the floor. She is at the moment. Up to 9 points now, Hezi McBegor. 4 from 4 from the field, so it's certainly a battle between her and Fazula right now for which player is looking most impressive. Varga comes in as Brooks goes to the bench. First break of the game for Jelena Brooks. Foul's going to be called. Let's see who it's on. I think it's on Varga. It is. Both teams now on 3 team fouls. Baseline ball for Avenida, a 14 on the shot clock for them to work with. Gulby comes back out to Carlton. Offensive foul is going to be called. I think it might be on Razingarova. If it is, that'll be a second. Interesting to see if Coach Vazquez keeps it in the game with 2. You've got Fazula on the bench who just has 1. In fact, it's, Razingarova called for that foul. Fegvanecki now. And Sopron's offense a little static, not as fluid as we're used to. Shot goes up from range, that's heavy. Mobego just stretches up for the rebound. Second offensive rebound, and she'll come back out. Avenida struggling to control their own glass right now. Foul will be called on Gulby. And as predicted, Sopron now will get some free throws from Avenida. Back-to-back offensive rebounds for Mobego. All 3 of her boards in today's game have been off the offensive glass. As Kunek rejoins the action and Chukwu heads to the bench. In and out for the first Mobego free throw, 74% across the season. She may be just 23 years of age, but my goodness me, she already has a resume that players coming to the end of their career would be happy with, including a World Cup bronze medal on her home soil in the summer of 22. It's a long distant memory though, I imagine. Valaro, corner 3 is good. 3 triples for Valaro today, and she is pumped right now. 9 points for Valaro, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. With that big shot, Avenida's lead is back out to 6. Just over 5.5 minutes left on this first half clock, and once again it's Coach Gaspar that's forced into the timeout, using up his final timeout of the first half. As Avenida just look a completely different proposition right now. Some of the highlight plays from the game so far, and it's certainly been an interesting one. This was always an intriguing fixture when we saw this. Sopron with the opportunity to secure a playoff spot, but a resurgent Avenida under a new head coach. A big win on the road last week. Does that signal a return to the glory days for this Spanish team? Remember, they finished 3rd last year. Well, they'd love to be back to the Final Fours, if not heading all the way to the top step. Fegvanecki now. Gets it up over the half, almost stops up in Coffin corner and gets herself in some trouble. Mobego drives inside. Hits it out, long 2, Fegvanecki. The defense was tough though, rebound ripped down. Tough play by Carlton. Now into Fazula. She tries to whip it round the corner to Gulby. Holds onto it but throws it away. Turner. Been pretty quiet so far. No assists, no points for Yvonne Turner. I wonder if there's any lasting hangover from blow to the head she got last week. A huge swelling almost instantly appearing above her left eye. He's showing the images on social media. Bit of a Halloween one, that's for sure. Hopefully she's fully recovered from it. Cazorla looking for the backdoor cut, but Turner reads it well. That's what she brings, that IQ, that 360 vision. She's out at the races now though. Avenida's transition defense holds fast. Whoa, that's a big foul. Kunek through the fake. Carlton bought it, every last bit of it. She flew out. Thankfully, both players are okay. That could have been an awful lot worse. There's the little shot fake, and Carlton doing everything she can to get there. Wipes Kunek out. They're both okay though. Not sure what the call was there by the officials. Saying Kunek stepped out of bounds. Maybe that was before the foul from Carlton. It's a turnover, triple substitution for Avenida. Nogic, Onyenwere and Dominguez into the game, and Onyenwere straight away steps in, continues that onslaught in the paint on the offensive end. Under 16 minutes into the game, Avenida now, their lead at 8, but maybe more impressively for them is they're holding Sopron to just 22 points. Shot clock down to 3. Can they get it away? McBegor's going to have to put a prayer up. She does. She gets some of the rim. Carlton just outfights Kunek for the rebound. Dominguez for 3. Oh, it's huge! Sylvia Dominguez. First double-digit lead of the game for Avenida. No real surprise, it comes from the hands of the vet. Turner, crowd, the noise. This really is one of the great arenas for EuroLeague women around Europe. That will remain Sopron ball as Dominguez knocks it out of bounds. Kunek looking for the foul. Baseline ball for Sopron. 3.7 seconds left on the shot clock as Yelena Brooks comes back into the game. Coach Vasquez will be happy so far. Brooks, mid-range 2. Oh my goodness. If there is ever a play that sums up Yelena Brooks, that is probably it. Off the bench, completely cold. Her team down by the most they've been all game. Just steps in, nonchalantly drops down that mid-range jumper. Brings it back down to single digits. Casually strolls back down to play some defense. That is what Yelena Brooks brings. It's not about the show, the glitz and the glamour. It's about getting the job done for Yelena Brooks. Fazula looking to drop step into the paint. Works her way around McBegor, but the shot's off target. McBegor a little bit more physical in that possession. Fegvinecki has to come back out to Brooks. Shot clock still has 10 on it though. Kunek now looks to blast past Onyenwere. Oh, lovely little sidestep, but the finish is off target. Nogic back to Dominguez at the top. Shot clock to 8 for Avenida. Nogic looks to go the long way. Puts a little bit too much on the reverse layup. Fegvinecki with some tough defense. McBegor now. Traveling violation. Just picking up that back foot. Needed to really lead with the right foot and drive through on that. Timeout's been called by Coach Vasquez. His team lead by 9. What a first half of basketball it's been for this team. The Salamanca crowd has certainly enjoyed themselves. They've played their part as well in what looks like a near sellout here in Salamanca. The drums have rung out from way before the opening tip, and they continue to do so. As we see Ezzy McBegor, she's doing a great job on the offensive side of things, really putting in a shift. She has 10.4 rebounds, 3 of which are offensive. It's just defensively at the moment. She's being isolated. Her teammates aren't necessarily helping out on the defensive end, and that's what's causing her problems. Sopron continue to fight. They're not a team that flies high and low with emotions. They just keep plugging away. That's what keeps them in games, and that's what helps them pick up wins in tough situations. If you were to do report cards so far in this game, probably a C for Sopron and maybe an A plus for Avenida is where you would be. Spanish team have looked on point so far today. Dominguez. Nogic is going to get called for the foul. It's that little stutter into her first step that's causing the problems. Another turnover. Sideline ball for Sopron. Just 1 minute 20 left in this first half now. A very entertaining first half, not necessarily the highest scoring first half, but that hasn't reduced the entertainment value as these two teams really are going at it. Plenty of physicality in this game as well. Mubego against Fazula. It's stolen away. Good hands by Dominguez. Fazula now kicks it to the wing. Oh, and there's the three ball. Nogic called for a travel the possession before. She more than makes up with the three. 12-point lead now for Avenida. Sopron would love to bring it back to single digits before the end of the half. That would be almost a bit of a win for them to go into the locker room. Foul's going to be called. Avenida in the penalty as well, so that will send Turner to the free throw line. Turner over 90% from the free throw line. There's the commentator's curse early on. She overcomes the commentator's curse and hits both. Coach Vasquez going to use his second time out of the half as well, trying to make the most of the final 31.3 seconds in this first half. What an exciting and entertaining first half we have had, though. There's two teams clearly desperate to make it through to the playoffs, fight it out. Remember, Sopron, if they win today, secure their place in the postseason. They will be the first team in Group B to do so. If Avenida win today, it throws everything wide open. We would have Sopron and Skio and Chukarova all on 8 wins, 4 loss records. We'd also have Girona and Avenida on 7 win, 5 records, and then DVTK, the last team in the hunt, with a 6-6 record. This one is going to go all the way to the wire. Remember, after today, just 2 more regular season games on the slate for both of these teams. For Avenida, they still to play DVTK on the road and Girona at home. For Sopron, they have Lond at home and then Skio away. Final 30 seconds of this first half. Avenida lead by 10. On Nwere now. Nogic. Inside, hands it off. Fazula wide open. Nogic for 3. Oh, big triple for the Serbian. Cool, calm and collected. Sopron trying to get a shot away. They do. Fegvanecki can't get it to go though, and that will be the end of the first half. And a first half that really gives advantage to Avenida in this game. Look at the crowd. They know what this game means. They know what a first 20 minutes their team have put in. And they will cheer them all the way back to the locker room. What a first 20 minutes. Half-time score here in Salamanca. Avenida 39, Sopron 26. 20 minutes of basketball ahead of us, and what a 20 minutes it could be. The breakdown in the quarter scores, and you can see as much Avenida have done a pretty good job offensively, it's about the defense where the game has changed here. holding Sopron to just 12 in the first quarter, 14 in the second quarter. That is exactly what Avenida did when these two met back in December, and they are doing the same again to Sopron. They don't quite hold the 21-point lead at the half like they did back in December, but they do hold a very impressive 13-point lead to take into the second half. Big performances in that first half across the board for Avenida. For Sopron, two players in double digits. Pretty much their entire offense focused around either Brooks or McBegor. Brooks had 12 points. McBegor 10 points. Also had 4 rebounds and a steal to her name. As for Avenida, just one player in double digits, but unbelievably, they currently have 9 players already registered on the scorebook. Fazula is their top scorer. She's got 10 points. She had 10 points after her first 5 minutes on the floor. Didn't add to that in the second quarter, but that player there, Valaro and Nogic, stepped up massively in the second quarter, raining down from downtown. Valaro 3 from 4 for her 9 points. Nogic 2 from 2 from downtown for her 6. That's a part of the reason why at the half Avenida lead by 13, shooting almost 64% from outside, 7 from 11. But at the half, it is Avenida 13-9, Sopron 26. The second half coming up shortly, live. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you tune back in for that. It's set to be a very big 20 minutes of basketball. Welcome back to Salamanca. This is game day 12. We're here in Group B at the halfway stage of what has been a bit of a battle between Avenida and Sopron. At the halfway stage, it's Avenida 39, Sopron 26. Just a reminder to set the scene, Sopron, if they win today's game, secure a spot in the postseason playoffs. They would be the first team in Group B to do so, whereas our team that are leading right now, Avenida, they are fighting tooth and nail to stand any chance of making it through to the playoffs. This is a big game for both of these teams. At the half, Avenida's defense has been the difference, that is for sure. Avenida held Sopron to just 12 points in the first quarter, 14 in the second, and you can see what it means to them. Valaro absolutely pumped in this one, no surprise. She's got 9 with 3 from 4 from downtown, and Coach Vasquez is leading a bit of a renaissance here for Avenida, having recently taken over the reins from the departing Coach Iniguez. Sopron looking a little frustrated, both players and Coach Gaspar trying to find an answer right now. Their entire offense leaning completely on Yelena Brooks and Ezi Mugbego. Brooks with 12, Mugbego with 10. Only other 2 other players on the board. Yvonne Turner with 2 free throws and Vivi Burundi with 1 jumper to her name. Other end of the floor, Avenida have 9 players already registering points. It's a big difference between these two. If you were to say from the outside which of these teams was top of the table coming into this round of games and which team were fighting tooth and nail in 5th place in the table, you would probably say it was the other way round. The fact being the Sopron were our leaders going into the round. Not the case anymore. Chukarova picking up a big win yesterday, moves them to top. Skio going to 2nd, Girona in 3rd, Sopron into 4th, but that's based on the fact those teams having played an additional game. Smile on the face of Valaro. Big 20 minutes of basketball ahead. Avenida fighting to stay in with a chance of making it through to the playoffs. Sopron trying to secure that playoff berth. Second half action underway here in Salamanca. Game day 12 halfway through the Avenida Sopron battle. It's the home team Avenida leading this one by 13. Avenida, that really sums their game up so far. The energy and intensity level on the defensive end has been very, very tough indeed. They've put in a lot in that first 20 minutes. If they can replicate that in the second half, they are potentially on track for a big win and a bit of an upset win as well, almost stolen away. Villaro chasing down, all smiles right now for Cazorla. McBegor looking to drive against Razingarova. Loses possession, though, almost a triple team collapsed on her once she got into the paint. Oh, and the big jumper drops for Carlton. 16-point lead now, that's a game high. Carlton's first bucket of the game. Baseline drive, blocked. That one knocks Chukor to the floor. Player advantage at the moment for Avenida. Onion Wayray nails the three. What a start to the second half for Avenida. And just like the first half, within the first minute of the restart, Coach Gaspar is forced into a timeout. Unbelievable from Avenida right now. They lead this one 45-26. 6-0 start to the second half has really put Sopron up against the ropes. Quick timeout there for Sopron. They're back on the floor already, ready to go. Just to touch on how good Avenida's shooting performance has been so far tonight. 9 from 13 from downtown. They are shooting 69% from outside. That is better than what they're shooting from inside. Just 57% from two-point range. What a performance here from Avenida. Across the season, they're averaging just 7 made threes a game. We're 1 minute into the third quarter and they've already made 9. Fegvanecki now. There's plenty of experience. She certainly knows how to dig a team out of the hole. She's been around the game long enough. Turner open for 3. Look to push into that a little hard. But Sopron could collect the offensive rebound. Fegvanecki being chased hard by Razingarova. Backcourt violation called. Julia Razingarova putting it all out there right now. Chasing hard on the hedge on the screen. Look at that defense. Fegvanecki forced into going backcourt. Another turnover. That is the 10th turnover of the game for Sopron. 17 points off turnovers for Avenida. That's a problem as well. Better defense from McBegor. Razingarova just didn't quite have the power to get the shot away. Turner now brings it up over the half. Sopron really do need a quick response, or this game could quickly get away from them. Foul's going to be called on Razingarova. Just a split second late on the hedge that time. That's her third foul as well. Won't be too much of a worry. I imagine she'll come out of the game. Yeah, Fazula will come in her place. Fazula had a huge first quarter, 10 points in a little over 5 minutes of action. She didn't score any in the second quarter though. See if she can restart it in the third. Burundi now, facing up against Villaro. Brooks is going to get called for the offensive foul as she pushes into Villaro. Sideline ball for Avenida, and you can almost take a temperature reading of how the game's going on the noise level here. It's been through the roof for a lot of the game, and that tells you how good Avenida have looked. Great ball movement. Onion Wayray for three. Oh, and it's another three ball. You'd have to say potentially one of the best phases of play this season for Avenida. McBegor off target, little short-range jumper just wasn't quite right for her. Sopron though grab another offensive rebound, and this is how they're going to get their way back into the game. Brooks, baseline spin, foul called on Cazorla. Too much of a mismatch for Cazorla. Needs to be careful she doesn't get called for the unsportsmanlike. Cazorla giving up over 10 centimetres in that battle though. Couldn't afford to let Brooks just back her down. Chukor now moves it back out. Brooks wide open for the three. Too heavy, and that one will go all the way over the backboard and rattle around the ironwork on the support. Coach Gaspar looking exacerbated right now. He's looking as though everything he does just doesn't seem to make the difference. They need to find a solution. They need to find it fast. Trail by 22 points. That's how much they lost by in the first meeting of these two teams. Stolen away. Carlton just got a little lazy. And that can be a problem when you create a lead like this early in a game, like Avenida have here. An unsportsmanlike foul is going to be called on Carlton. It will send Sopron to the line for shots. 50% free throw shooter this season, Chukor misses the first of her two. Second, that's the joy of the home fans. Damage done in the end really from that Carlton foul. Sopron really do need to change something up. Avenida need the same. Cazorla's going to get called for the foul. That will push Avenida into the penalty right now. Cazorla just bumping the cutter and maybe bumping Jelena Brooks a little hard. But that's going to give Avenida a bit of a problem. Sopron might be shooting free throws quite a bit in this quarter. Turner to Brooks. Brooks fading away. Does get the roll eventually. It's going to take a cool head from Sopron now to battle their way back into the game. They certainly have the experience in their roster to do so. There's no way you would claim this game is done and dusted right now. Cazorla comes back out. Onion Wayray throws it away. McBegor just reads that passing lane to perfection. Turner will get the offense set up for Sopron. Brooks to McBegor, running down the lane, can't get the three-point play. Will draw the foul, will head to the free throw line. That one on Carlton again. Canadian picking up 2 fouls early here in the third quarter. Dominguez back into the action as Cazorla goes to the bench after picking up 2 fouls in this quarter as well. McBegor can't get the first to go. And Avenida are giving Sopron a chance to get back into the game, and they're not really taking it at the moment. McBegor hits the second. 5 from 10 from the free throw line in tonight's game, Sopron. We're an 80% free throw shooting team across the season. Valaro fakes a 3, drives inside, draws the foul on Burundi. Burundi just snatched at the need to play some defense on the shooter. Draws the foul. One of the easier calls for the officials to make tonight. Rodriguez into the game. Down low, Fazula going to work against McBegor, and once again Fazula just bullying away in the paint. Turner, three. Too heavy. Yvonne Turner having a really tough night. Only had 3 shot attempts. Hasn't hit any of them as of yet. Just 2 points for her, all from the free throw line. Brooks now against Carlton. Fades away, doesn't get the roll. Zula just knocks the defensive rebound down to Carlton. And Dominguez will set Avenida's offense up halfway through this third quarter. Dominguez turns the corner. Shot clock running down. Are they going to get a shot away? They are. It doesn't hit the rim though. Better defense from Sopron in the last couple of possessions. More intensity, certainly more help as well. More of a team ethos about the way they've approached defense in the last couple of possessions. Now they're really spreading the floor, making it hard for Avenida to play defense against them. Rebound pulled down by Rodriguez. She can't keep it in though. And Sopron will take possession back. Turner to McBegor. Blocking foul is going to be called on Dominguez. That one's on the floor, but it will send Turner to the line for shots. I don't agree with the call. Neither does Coach Vasquez. The officials certainly stating it was a blocking foul from Dominguez. Illegally stopping Turner getting to the basket. Turner hits the first of her 2 as Avenida make another change. Rulby comes in. Onyenwere heads to the bench. More changes for both teams as we see Varga and Stankovic come in for Sopron. Valaro back in for Avenida as Carlton goes to the bench. Both coaches trying to run through their rosters. They know this game isn't going to be done and dusted until deep into the fourth, so they need fresh superstars to play out those clutch minutes. Fazula now. Hands it off to Dominguez. Dominguez for 3. Just a little off balance. Fazula offensive rebound and the 2. Look at the roar from Fazula. 14 points now for her, leading all scorers. Burundi slips down the lane. That is a tough play by Vivi Burundi. Super smart play. Just read what the defense were giving her. Gave her the glimmer of light to drive straight down the paint. She takes the invitation. Dominguez is open for 3. That one's short. Another rebound for Fazula. She is cleaning the offensive glass. Someone get her a bottle of Winderling. Turner. Every time there's a big offensive play for Avenida, it sparks the energy on the defensive side, but Turner beats the shot clock, quietens the crowd a little, and maybe Yvonne Turner's waking up. 4 points in the last couple of possessions, and her first field goal of the game. Foul's going to be called. Wait to see who that's on. I think it's on Dorma Chukor, as we see Kunek ready to come back in for Chukor. Sopron aren't in the penalty though, so it'll just be a baseline ball for Avenida. Get the fresh 14 to work with on the shot clock though, so they'll take their time. 19-point lead for Avenida, built from a very impressive start to this third quarter. Dominguez down in the paint. Stankovic swats it away. I think it's just going to be an out of bounds. I think the official has corrected herself. saying, I thought it was a foul. Having thought about it, it's not a foul. So it'll be a baseline ball for Avenida. Quite a conversation going on with the officials right now. Talk this one over. I think they're going to have a coach's challenge potentially. I have a feeling it's from Coach Gaspar to say, I think if it's not a foul, it came off Dominguez, so it should be a Sopron ball on the baseline. The officials will now go and look this one through, saying that's a clean block. I'm not sure you're going to see it from that angle. That might be a better one. Yeah, I think that's Avenida ball by the looks of it. It doesn't look to come off Dominguez. This might be a good angle. It just looks like some great defense for me. Stankovic with a big block. Official still reviewing the game tape though to make sure. It will be Avenida ball. Stankovic chalks up a huge rejection. Great defense from her. Avenida will go again. 3 seconds on the shot clock for them to work with. Catch and shoot, that's short though. Rebound by Turner. 2.5 minutes left in this third quarter, and my goodness me, what a third quarter we've had. 15-9 in favor of Avenida so far. Sopron looking to try and spread the floor as much as they can. Varga puts the three up. Kunek goes over the back of Dominguez for the offensive rebound. Stankovic inside, and the easy score as Villaro is left on the floor. Plenty of wolf whistles from the crowd though. They're certainly intent on playing their part in today's game. You've got to love the atmosphere they generate here in Salamanca. They are all in through and through the blue of Avenida. Dominguez pulls up mid-range, two, rattles it home. Cool, calm and collected from the veteran guard. You don't end up with 3 EuroLeague Women's Championships, multiple international medals as well, if you can't play under the pressure, and Silvia Dominguez certainly can. McBegor will come back into the game as Stankovic looks like she's in a certain amount of pain heading to the bench. Potentially picked up some form of injury in that final phase of play. Avenida's lead still at 19, a little over a minute left in the third quarter. And that's going to be a shot clock violation. And that has been celebrated by the Avenida players, probably more than any basket they've scored in today's game. And that tells you a lot about the mindset, almost the new look of Avenida. Defense is leading the way for them right now. You know, if they can play tough defense for the next just over 10 minutes, they're going to come away with a win, a big win as well. Their hopes making it to the playoffs stay alive. Villaro, 3-ball, nails another one. My goodness. Unreal performance from Villaro tonight. Easily her biggest points haul. 12 points now for Villaro. 4 from 8 from the field and another turnover. Sopron just struggling to get any form of a foothold in this game. Avenida just swamping them at both ends. Final 20 seconds of this third quarter. Offensive foul will be called on Goulby. Just a moving screen. Turnover called. 12th turnover of the night for Avenida, but the big difference is Sopron have only scored 12 points from turnovers. Avenida have scored 23 points from turnovers. That efficiency is phenomenal as Turner just blasts down the lane. Fazula left in a huddle on the floor, and the buzzer beater almost rattles home, but that buzzer sounds out the end of the third quarter, and Avenida take a phenomenal 20-point lead into the final quarter. 30 minutes in the books. It's Avenida 59, Sopron 39. What an impressive quarter from Avenida yet again. At no point in any quarter in this game have Sopron scored more than 14 points. 12 in the first quarter, 14 in the second quarter, 13 in the third quarter. They're on track for maybe a 60-point game. That is huge. Holding Sopron to below 60 points would be a huge performance from Avenida here. That's your breakdown of the quarter scores. Avenida have looked good offensively. Not great, but good offensively. Defensively, they have been next level in today's game, and you see from their reaction the joy they have from big defensive plays. That's the Carlton 3 ball early on in the third quarter. But the joy that Avenida get at the other end of the floor when they get stops like that really does show. The team are fully locked in on their defensive philosophy now. Certainly do look like a different mindset under coach Vasquez. Fazula has been a beast in the paint. 16 points for her, 7 from 8 from the field. Most of her points coming within, I'd say, 20 or 30 centimeters of the bucket. Look how much she's enjoying the performance today. Here's a little long two from Turner. Sopron need a huge final quarter to come away with the win here. Fourth quarter action underway. Game day 12 here in Salamanca. And yes, you see the score. That is correct. Avenida lead this one 59-39 over Sopron. Just 10 minutes left on the game clock. The Spanish team have been unreal defensively tonight, holding Sopron to under 15 points in every quarter. Dominguez draws the foul off Fegvanecki. Two veterans going toe-to-toe. Fegvanecki 38, Dominguez 36. You'd hate to think how many thousands of minutes of elite level basketball those two have under their belts. Rodriguez is going to have to come back out. Does so, but it's spilled out of bounds by Velaro. A rare mistake from her. It's her second turnover of the game. Even though Avenida are up by 20, their defense is still trying to hustle, still trying to pressure on the ball. Just as if it was the first quarter. But I suppose they know that if their defense can stay tough for the next 10 minutes, their offense almost becomes irrelative. Oh, that's a big jumper. That is a huge play from McBegor. It's that kind of play that will push Sopron back into the game. McBegor now up to 14 points alongside 6 rebounds. Inside was Ingarova with the 2. And for your coach Vasquez now, you just need to see the scoreboard ticking along for Avenida. It doesn't need to be flying along, just ticking along. Let's be honest, at the outside, Sopron could score 30 points in a quarter. So realistically, you need to score maybe another 10 points and you should come away with the win unless Sopron put in potentially the best quarter of basketball they have all season. Vinecki will head to the line though on that Razingarova foul, and Coach Gaspar knows that it looks like it might be another week they have to wait to secure a playoff position, as Dominguez and Razingarova head to the bench. Vinecki at the line. And this is the first of her two. Carlton, Nogic and Cazorla have come in for Razingarova, Valaro, Dominguez and Rodriguez. Wholesale changes from Coach Vazquez, and he's not scared of making those changes. He's worked hard on the rotations tonight. Kept players fresh, and in the long run that will keep players happy as well. They're all getting minutes, they're all contributing to the team's success. That is always a positive place to be as a coach. Their lead though is down to 17, a little under 8.5 minutes still on the game clock. Foul's going to be called as Nogic just as a soft little hesitation dribble. Burundi called for the foul. Timeout's going to be called by Coach Vazquez. He wants to talk things over. I think it's just really to lock out this win. I'm sure he'll be talking about time management, game management, what kind of opportunities they're looking for on the offensive end. Might even set them a target to get to, knowing that that might be a step too far for Sopron if they can get there. For Coach Gaspar, yes, you want to try and chase the game. Of course you do. You'll run it as long as you possibly can to try and take the win, especially when a chance of getting your playoff place booked is available. There will become a point if his team can't break through in the next probably 5 minutes, I'd say. And he might start thinking about how they can use the last few minutes of the game to prepare themselves for their final 2 games of the regular season. They take on Lens back on their home floor next week, and then Skio on the road to close out their regular season. They would potentially expect to beat Lens. Lens at the moment sit second bottom in the table, just 2 wins to their name, but you would not want to go to Skio on the last game of the regular season looking for the win to secure your playoff berth. That is not what the plan is for Sopron. As from Avenida, they are on the road to DVTK next week and then take on Girona back here in Salamanca in the final game day of the regular season. Carlton now looking for options. Inside to Fazula, double team comes, quick ball movement. Good help defense, they're going to get a shot away. No, they're not. That's going to be a shot clock violation. A much better defense from Sopron. Avenida running to their old play. Let's get it inside. The double team has to drop on the likes of Fazula when she receives the ball. The reaction, though, from Sopron, when that double team created the space and the mismatch for Avenida to use, Sopron flexed. They reacted and recovered a lot quicker than I'd seen pretty much at any other point in the game tonight. Brooks inside, McBegor. Defense is called on the foul. That one on Nogic. That will send McBegor to the line. And this is one of the ways back into the game for Sopron. Opportunity to put points on the board from the free throw line while the clock's not ticking. McBegor misses the first of her 2, though. 2 from 5 from the free throw line tonight, Ezzy McBegor. Hits the second. 3 from 6. Certainly below her expectations from the free throw line. 16-point lead though for Avenida. Probably the best start to a quarter we have seen in today's game from Sopron. 6 points in the first just over 2 minutes of this fourth quarter. jumper's going to come up way short. The loose ball scooped up by Chukor. Brooks trying to battle away to the basket. Fazula helps across. It will be a baseline ball for Sopron. It's the right no call from the official. Fazula's helped across fairly on that one. Still 14 seconds though for Sopron to work with. Offensive foul called on Brooks with a moving screen. It's those kind of mistakes that just make the mountain that Sopron have to climb a few centimeters taller each time. Onion Wayray now will come into the game as we see Goulby head to the bench. Zorla. Nogic, that's short. Rebound pulled in by Carlton. Batted away though by Chukor. Avenida can't afford for their offense to completely stall. They need to keep the scoreboard ticking over. They can't think that they've got enough points already to get the win. Onion Wayray swatted away by McBeggar, and she rescues possession. Big play by the Australian international. McBeggar goes the other way. Can't get the score though. Fazula with the rebound. Avenida offensively really struggling now. You wonder if they've tried to put it into cruise control too early and they're struggling to get it going again. Carlton going to back away down to the basket. Drop steps inside. Tough shot. Comes up short. Good call for the foul. Carlton will go to the free throw line. 77% across the season, Bridget Carlton, as Valaro comes back in. Nogic back to the bench. First free throw won't count, waved away. She'll get another fresh 2 to go. Rotation from Coach Vasquez has been impressive. 9 of his 10 players have played double digits. Jovana Nogic is the only player below that. She's played 6.5 minutes, scored 6 points as well. So that's a great return from the minutes she's been on the floor. Carlton splits her free throws though. Makes the first, misses the second. Avenida's lead just brought out to 17. Still an opportunity for Sopron to get their way back into this. Pass inside to McBeggar. Kick to the corner. Chukor. Oh my goodness. This is problematic for Avenida then. A resurgent Sopron here in the fourth quarter. They've outscored them 9-3 in the first 4 minutes. And Sopron increase the run rate some more and fight their way back into what would be an unbelievable comeback win. Cazorla fakes the 3 inside, comes up short though. Must have clipped the front of the iron. They got a reset on the shot clock. Onion Wayray for 3. This is huge, and it is. That is a big score. You could feel some of the nerves in the arena. That's brought the crowd back to life. A little bit of CPR for Onion Wayray there. Chukor off right. Oh, she rattles it home though. That looked like it was going and fading to the right. While Sopron have a resurgence in their perimeter shooting, they have a chance. They trail by 14. Valaro. McBeggar gets in the passing lane, but it's stolen back by Valaro. She throws a prayer up. It clips the iron and gets her own rebound. Can you believe it? What a play by Valaro. Inside to Carlton. She's blocked by Brooks. It will be Avenida ball on the baseline though. 6 seconds on the shot clock. What a frenetic phase of play. Timeout's been called. Carlton looks to go inside. There's the block by Brooks. And be batted out of bounds though. So the Spanish team will have possession when they return from the timeout. 4 minutes 25 seconds left on the game clock. A 14-point lead for Avenida. However, Sopron has scored 12 in the first 5.5 minutes. If they can replicate that and a little bit more in the second 5 minutes of this quarter, then they have a chance. It's an outside chance, but you certainly wouldn't want to leave right now. Crowd are certainly enjoying themselves. Gotta love some of the hats on show. Just make my way to the club shop, get my hands on one of those. So a little under 4.5 minutes to go. Some of the junior players for Avenida certainly adding to the volume that is already bouncing off the top of the decibel meter. Baseline ball to Fazula. Comes back out to Dominguez. A little bit of composure now needed for Avenida. They have to get the shot away though, and it's an air ball easily scooped up by Brooks. 14-point lead for Sopron to fight back from. Trailed by 20 at the start of the quarter. Oh, it's down to 11. Brooks with the 3. Feel the tension now here in Salamanca. Dominguez is fouled by Turner. That will send Dominguez to the line. This is a problem for Sopron though. Avenida 75% across the season for free throws. 75% tonight. They've only had 4 free throws all game. They're going to have plenty more in the final 4 minutes of this game. Dominguez hits the first of her 2. Unbelievably, and now this is a curse, she hasn't missed one all season. And there you go. Those that say I have the curse I certainly do today. Dominguez missing. Pressure being applied. Just a 12-point lead now for Avenida. McBegor off target. Big rebound by Burundi though. Sopron will go again. Offensive foul is going to be called on Brooks. Just a bit of excessive force as she tries to post up. She's saying to her teammates, look, you've got to give me the ball earlier. If I've got the mismatch, if I'm sealing someone out, just give me the ball and let me go to work. Don't delay the pass, because then I'm going to get called for the foul. Fazula sends it back to Dominguez. Shot clock to 10. Carlton now. Onyenwere with the screen. Back to Dominguez. Fakes the 3. She'll have to take it as she steps back. Oh! Ho, ho! Ice cold from Dominguez. The antifreeze in her veins holds out as she drains a huge 3 under pressure. Shot clock running down. Means nothing to her. Stolen away by Carlton. Is that the backbreaker of a play? Is that the nail in the coffin for Sopron, that 3 from Dominguez? It could be. And no real surprise that it's Dominguez that deals that blow. What a player. Ball pass though from Valaro. The only bonus is they burnt 19 seconds off the game clock in that possession. Pretty much 2.5 minutes to play as Cazorla comes back in. Valaro heads to the bench. Great shift from Valaro. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal. Can Cazorla help Avenida close this game out? Into the corner. Thegvanecki hits a 3. This game is alive as long as Sopron can keep hitting the 3 ball. Avenida's lead back to just 12. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left in this one. Dominguez, another three. That one's short. Rebound from Onyenwere. Dominguez will slow it down. They'll look to burn a little bit more clock off. Dominguez, quick turn. Back out. Onyenwere fakes the three. Drives inside to the right hand. And the roll is good. Avenida's lead up to 14. Under 2 minutes to go. Is this a step too far for Sopron right now? Go inside to Brooks. That's the early pass that Brooks wanted. Oh, Brooks goes to work. Can't get the score. Will draw the foul. That one's going to be called on Carlton, I think. Yeah, it is. And she just tries to dive across her to try and block it. She fouls her instead. Brooks will go to the line. 4-2 free throws. Puts a 2 from 3 from the free throw line. 18 points and 4 rebounds. A steal and a block for Jelena Brooks, but maybe too little too late for Coach Gaspar. Brooks hits the second. .90 seconds left on the game clock. 12-point lead for Avenida. Dominguez inside, kicks it out. Good ball movement. Carlton fakes the three, gets it away. Oh, wow! That is a contested three like you would not believe. No wonder Carlton has a smile on her face. McBegor was all over and she still drains the triple. Carlton up to 7 points now alongside 7 rebounds and 3 assists. There have been big performances across the entire Avenida roster tonight. They lead by 15. They are a minute away from an absolutely huge win here on their home floor. As Villaro will come back in, out of the game comes Carlton. Sideline possession now for Sopron. McBegor, Fegvinecki. There's the mismatch that they were looking for. Brooks will get the easy little roll to the basket for 2. For Avenida now, get it up over the half and just run the clock down. Don't even worry about taking a shot if I was them. They're going to run the weave at the top. That is a great way of just running the clock down, keeping the ball moving. Shot clock down to 9, rejected by McBegor. Turner puts some jets on to come the other way. Brooks drives to the basket, has to come back out though. And Avenida now are just a little over 20 seconds away from what is a huge win here on game day 12. This will move them to a 500 record, move them to a 7-5 record, putting them level with Girona. And listen to the crowd here in Salamanca. They are showing their appreciation for what has been an amazing performance from their team. The playoff hopes are still alive here in Salamanca as Avenida come away with a huge win against top of the table Sopron. They deserve their celebrations on the mid-court. Plenty of smiles on the faces of the Spanish team. For Sopron, it's been a tough night. They have faced a very different looking Avenida team. Final score here in Salamanca, Avenida 74, Sopron 61. What a game we have had here in Salamanca. The crowd have enjoyed it. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as well. Here's your quarter score breakdown. Sopron did what they could in the final quarter, but it was too little too late. They trailed by 20 going into that final quarter, and they only won it by 7. That gives Avenida the 13-point win. Look at the face of Coach Vasquez. He has turned this team around. They were struggling at one stage this season. They had a 4-game losing streak. Picked up a win against Mechelen last week. They beat top of the table Sopron this week. They'll go on to face DVTK next week on the road before they're back at home for the final game of the regular season against Girona. If they play like this, Avenida have got Final Four written all over them. As for Sopron, you still feel that they are destined to make it to the playoffs. They'll just have to wait another week. It might be back on their home floor that they book their spot as they take on Lawn next week. Their regular season will close out on the road to Skio in a few weeks' time. But what a game we have had here. The win for Avenida moves them to a 7-win, 5 record, exactly the same as Girona's. And ahead of them, there are 3 teams. Sopron, Skio and Čukurova all have 8 and 4 records going into the final 2 game days. Unbelievable right here in Group B. There are still 6 teams fighting it out for those 4 spots. And there's only 2 game days left. So many twists and turns still ahead of us here in the regular season. But here we have had a wonderful performance from Avenida. Their leading scorer, Mariela Fazula, she had 16 points. Also in double digits on Nwere with 13 points. 3 from 3 from downtown for her. And Villaro, she had 12 points. 4 from 6 from outside. As a team, they shot 61% from deep tonight. That was one of the big reasons they came away with the win. The other one was 26 points from turnovers. That really helped them establish their lead. As for Sopron, 2 players in double digits. The usual suspects, really. Yelena Brooks had 21 points and 4 rebounds. Ezi McBegor continues to impress. 15 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals and a block for her. But for Sopron, it is disappointment is the only thing they take back on their journey home. But they will live to fight another day as they look to try and secure their spot in the playoffs. Hope you've enjoyed the action as much as I have tonight. It's been another amazing game in EuroLeague Women. This season keeps on giving. But the final score here in Salamanca is Avenida 74, Sopron 61. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again shortly for more EuroLeague Women action. you.